What's up, everyone? This video is about Kirk Franklin and the new headlines that we've been seeing about the new language that he's adopted. So we all think of Kirk Franklin, the gospel songwriter, producer, as this perfect person that can do no wrong, and literally walks on clouds, has never sinned in his life. And everything that he puts in his songs are a reflection of his personal life. Said no one ever. I think that the situation is this, okay? His son leaked a conversation of him and his dad. Honestly, we don't really know what they were discussing. It doesn't give you enough context. But at one point in the conversation, Kirk Franklin loses his cool, okay? And honestly, I can say I've lost my cool. I'm sure that you watching, you've lost your cool. And so Kirk Franklin loses his cool and uses profanity against his son. Now, I find that in a situation where you're recording the conversation, you know exactly how you want this narrative to go. You're going to have the conversation in such a way that makes you look like you're in the right and the person you're recording is in the wrong. Okay? Someone might debate that whether you're being recorded or not, you should always behave yourself in a manner that's respectful, that's perfect. Honestly, nobody lives that way. Okay? I only hope that nobody ever records me 24/7, because I am at some point going to do something wrong, and if the public at large is judging my every action, then they're going to find something wrong. So in this situation, the son records it, and in the recording, you hear Kirk Franklin using profanity against his son. But in the conversation, that's not the only thing that I heard. I heard his son being disrespectful to his dad. Okay, and honestly, I can't imagine ever doing what Kirk Franklin's son did to Kirk Franklin on that call. I genuinely cannot imagine. Okay, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I heard the same response that Kirk Franklin gave. But essentially, I feel it shows more the character of his son. We have seen Kirk Franklin in the spotlight for years. We haven't seen the son in the spotlight for years. And from what I was able to gather from the short video that the son recorded of him in a car recording his father's conversation with him, it demonstrates that he had ill intent to record it without his dad knowing that the recording was not something that would play well, in the public at large, and could potentially ruin his father's career. And he went ahead and he provided that conversation for the public to hear. Honestly, what I hear in a conversation is a dad that cares for his son and he's not handling the situation properly. What I see from the son is a son who's being very malicious towards his father. Okay? If he was that upset with his dad, then hang up the call, wait till his dad cools down, and let him know. Keep it private. It's a private situation. But that's not what his son chose to do, and I don't think that his son's intent for leaking the information was to improve his relationship with his dad. I would go as far as to say I feel like it was to gain a name for himself. Just saying. Okay? The second thing is the son is from a relationship that Kirk Franklin had when he was a teenager. And what I often see with those type of situations are you kind of grow up with your son or with your daughter. You're not at the place in your life where you have gained the full maturity it takes to be a parent, and so you make a lot of mistakes along the way. And so it would explain why the relationship isn't what it's supposed to be. And what a big thing I respect with Kirk Franklin is he kind of hinted at certain things that led to what kind of relationship they have today, but he didn't air out family laundry, and he could have easily done it. And I feel that had he done it, it probably would have made him look a lot better. But the thing is, he didn't compromise the privacy of the conversation or the relationship with his son, with the public, in order to make himself look better. And honestly, you got to respect that. He has a lot to lose in the situation. We currently live in a cancel culture, so he has every reason to do that, to kind of air out as much details as possible. And if you think that, oh, it's because he probably doesn't want to get into details about his personal life, well, he's done that in the past. I mean, he's had interviews where he has shared the most intimate details of his life, such as his struggle with masturbation. And honestly, I mean, although it is something that most people do, definitely most men, it's not something that most people want to admit on camera, especially if you're a celebrity and you do gospel. So I just feel that the son demonstrated himself to be worse than the dad's behavior in the conversation. Okay? And the other thing too is, I feel like when you're a Christian, people think that you should be this perfect person that lives up to this, I don't know, this imaginary expectation that we have of Christians. And I feel like that's just as silly as if you sign up for, I don't know, like some diet regimen, and you are told, well, you don't know, you don't look the part, you don't you don't fit the weight requirement to follow this diet regimen. And it's just kind of like, well, no, I'm doing the diet regimen because I want to be where I aim to be, where my goal is. And so that's how I see it. It's kind of like, okay, sure, he's Christian, but does that mean he doesn't make mistakes? It would have been a different thing if the stance he took was, nah, man, I reserve the right to talk to my son that way. I'm always going to talk to my son that way. You guys can't tell me nothing. If he said something like that, then I would be like, okay, honestly, he's doing something wrong. He's not admitting to it, and then he's going to get on a song and then, potentially, prove himself to be a hypocrite. But this isn't the case. Okay, so I don't know. My position on this, I think, might be in line with what I'm seeing a lot of celebrities saying. I know there's been a variety of different celebrities that have come to Kirk Franklin's defense. We have Monique. I know that there's been Plies, the rapper Plies, and there's been comedian, talk show host Steve Harvey that has come to Kirk Franklin's defense. And I mean, the interesting thing too is when certain celebrities come to his defense, these are people sometimes that know him and that have met him. And, they're really kind of, I guess, providing a little bit of a character reference to say, yo, this person is not all the way bad. So I don't know. You let me know. Do you think that what Kirk Franklin did was bad? If you think it was bad, would you ever change your decision on buying his album or listening to his music because you're disappointed in his behavior? Or do you think that, he was right to have been upset in that conversation, should have handled it better, but it's a private matter and people shouldn't have a say in what happens in his home? Let me know. Feel free to leave a comment in the description. Let me know what you think. I'd be very excited to hear what you have to say. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.